Well, good morning. It is a beautiful fall day. Just want to take a minute and talk to you guys about this 2020 Chevrolet 1500 Silverado and my experience with it. Just getting ready to cross the 120,000 mile mark on this truck, and I figured I would give you some of the good, some of the bad, some of the ugly. Well, it looks like our morning yard deer are enjoying themselves. Looks like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 deer in the yard this morning, man. They're loving these acorns that are falling. So this is the 3-liter model. This is their diesel version, 4x4 with a Z71 package on it. This is the LTZ model. All right, well, let's start with some of the really good things about this truck. First, it gets phenomenal fuel mileage for a full-size vehicle. I usually average between 26 to 28 miles per gallon. The best mileage I've ever gotten on it was 33 on a 400 plus mile trip. But generally speaking, I'm somewhere in that 26 to 28 mile an hour range. I drive a lot of highway, some city, but I make up for that by doing a lot of idling on the side of the road in meetings and things. So overall, I think that probably would be a fairly accurate for someone who's not super lead-footed to get. It is a fairly capable off-roader, 4x4, the Z71 package. I would say for moderate off-roading, right? It's pretty long, so you're not going to get great approach and departure angles like you would on something like a Jeep or something along those lines. But for the most part, for hunting, running around out in the woods, it's fairly capable. It has a fairly low cost of ownership due to its fuel economy. We have had some things go wrong on it. I'll talk about that in a minute. But they have been covered under warranty. So with 120,000 miles all in, I've had to do very little to it other than just oil changes and fluid changes. It's also very quiet for a diesel. There's been more than a few occasions where I've pulled up to a diesel pump and the attendant or somebody next to me says, "Oh, you know you're at the diesel pump, right?" They want to make sure that I don't put diesel in a gas vehicle. But it's super quiet, not only at idle, but even running down the road. It's unmodified. I haven't done anything to it other than just drive this vehicle. And it's also very comfortable. I'm a fairly large person. I'm 6'3", got a few pounds on me. It's very comfortable for extended drives for me just on a day-to-day basis, getting in and out of. I find it very comfortable for somebody of my height and size. All right, let's talk about some of the bad things that we've experienced over the course of having this truck. One of the very first things I noticed is that it had an extremely annoying rattle. When you'd be driving down the road, one of the rear headrests would just sit there and shimmy and shake. And so I ended up taking that side, that was the left-hand side headrest in the rear. I ended up taking that off to get rid of that because it was just annoying as can be. And it's always not been quite as smooth down the road as I would have expected. Overall, compared to my old Ford that I used to have, it's light years ahead on the suspension. But the suspension, for being an unmodified suspension, seems like it's always had just a little bit of shimmy at high speeds going down the road, if the road's not perfectly smooth. So some of the other negatives that we've had with it, I had to put a radiator in it at about 50,000 miles. And honestly, it was probably leaking well before that. I would always get like this slight little whiff of coolant when I would get out, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. I finally got tired of that, and I took it in, and they pressure tested it at the dealership there and found that the radiator was leaking. As most new vehicles are, it's an aluminum plastic radiator, and they're a little more prone to that than some of the older, heavier styles. That one was out of warranty where it wasn't considered powertrain, so I did have to pay for that myself. That's really the only out-of-pocket expense that I've had for that. other than just doing oil changes and, you know, transmission, rear, you know, those fluid type changes. We also had to put in a water pump just before it hit 100,000 miles. That was covered under warranty. It has a 100,000 mile powertrain warranty. Well, once again, I was spilling some coolant and it was starting to weep. When they went in to do that, they also determined that the EGR cooler needed replaced. I think it was the EGR cooler that needed replaced as well. So they pulled both of those at the same time and replaced them. Thankfully, under warranty. A couple other things that we've gotten error codes for over time. I've had to put, I think, 3 or 4 glow plugs in there. Once again, those are considered engine and under warranty. Even those are kind of the bad things that have happened over the course of its life. Thankfully, they've been covered for the most part under the life of the warranty on that vehicle. All right, so what about the ugly things that I really don't like on this truck? There's really only one. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it is something to maybe consider. This truck seems to like to use oil. So some of the things I've read over the last few years, apparently that's a thing with both the small and the large Duramax engines. It's not terrible on this truck, but it's definitely something that you want to keep an eye on. When it's time to change the oil, you probably want to change the oil. So I generally like to put in a extended mileage synthetic so that I can go longer between oil changes. The oil I've been using is a Mobil 1 synthetic 15,000 mile oil. So I really probably would reconsider that if I was doing it again. And one of the things I found out with this is you really want to be checking your oil a lot more regularly than that, and perhaps topping it off. Just something to keep in mind. And it's not like it's belching, you know, smoke everywhere you go. It's a very clean running vehicle, but for some reason it does use up some oil. That's one of the only things that I don't really care for this vehicle. So I guess in finality, do I like this little 3-liter diesel engine? Do I like the Chevy 1500 truck? So my work wants me in a new vehicle. So I guess if the question is, do I like this vehicle enough to buy it again? There's your answer. 100% absolutely. I ordered the exact same truck that I just had, only 4 years newer. All right, well, I hope this helps you out. If you were looking into a Chevy 1500 with the 3-liter, phenomenal product, love it, couldn't recommend it more. Well, I think that is going to do it for today. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you on the next one.